shouldn't have to text my parents for the last time saying I'm scared. This is a school shooter. It shouldn't have to be my teacher.
State legislators in Tennessee passed a bill that will allow teachers and school staff in the state to be armed.
Senate Bill 1325 having received a constitutional majority.
The bill would authorize faculty or staff to carry a concealed handgun, subject to a number of conditions, including obtaining an enhanced handgun carry permit and completing annual training. After the vote, protesters chanted on the House floor. Bill co-sponsor Republican State Senator Paul Bailey says the bill just gives teachers the option to carry.
There's been a lot of misinformation about this legislation. This bill does not require any teacher in this state to carry a gun while working.
The bill now heads to the desk of Republican Governor Bill Lee. If he does not veto it, the bill becomes law with or without his signature. CNN has reached out to Lee's office for comment.
A Boeing 737 jet losing a wheel during takeoff and forced to make an emergency landing. The incident all caught on camera. Our transportation correspondent, Gio Benitez, is back with the latest. Good morning again, Gio.
Hey, Michael, good morning again. Yeah, this was pretty terrifying. It happened just a few days ago, but we are just now getting this video. The passengers and crew, they are all safe. But as you're about to see, it was a very dramatic landing. This morning, frightening video out of South Africa showing the moment a Fly Saf Air Boeing 737 aircraft with nearly 200 passengers and crew makes an emergency landing after losing a tire on takeoff. Ground staff seeing it all happen Sunday, telling the pilot of the damage to one of the back wheels. The pilot then circling back, passing low so teams could inspect the gear before landing. The plane skidding down the runway with smoke billowing from the bottom.
The wheel coming off is an extremely unusual thing on any jetliner, but they are designed to be able to land on even the hubs if the other wheel goes, and that's exactly what happened here.
The airline saying in a statement, "We extend our thanks to our customers for their patience and understanding through this process, and to our crews both on the ground and in the air for managing this issue with the utmost control and care, exemplifying our commitment to safety above all else." This just the latest in a series of alarming airline maintenance issues.
United 35, might have lost fuel on takeoff.
The tire of this United Airlines Boeing 777 plummeting to the ground in March. And earlier this month, that Southwest Airlines engine cover flying off mid-flight. And in January, this door plug detaching 16,000 feet in the air from that Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9.
When this does happen, or something like this happens, it gets everybody's attention. And we got to delve into the question of why. All
right, President Biden repeating a campaign claim that he used to drive a 18-wheel or a big rig. Here's what he said yesterday in Florida.
I used to drive an 18-wheeler. You know what I did?
You off negotiating.
That's exactly right.
However, several agencies have debunked that, finding no evidence that Biden ever drove an 18-wheeler. Several other claims Biden has also said in the past have been debunked. Take a look.
My Uncle Both Ambrose J. Finnegan, he flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there were a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea. I, like an awful lot of people in this audience, was the first in my family to go to college and watch my dad struggle to help me get there and get all the kids there. I remember one of the conductors when I was...
Right. There's a problem, Charlie.
Yeah, there's a big problem. PolitiFact saying this about Biden's 18-wheeler claim back in 2021, quote, "The closest experience he had was in 1973 when, as a senator, he rode along on a 536-mile tractor-trailer trip from Delaware to Ohio. In other words, I have flown a 747. Right. I've flown many 747s.
Right,
internationally.
Because you were a passenger.
Yeah, exactly. But I flew it. But I flew the plane.
Right,
I flew
right.
the.
You know how to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I mean, but
and I'm going to brag about it.
There's so many examples. Number one, he's created an international incident on Papua New Guinea because we actually need that as a strategic base, and we're trying to make inroads there.
Yeah, that turned out
and it turns out the guy who's highly insulted. He said, I love one of the quotes. He says, "We just don't eat any white person falling out of the sky." I thought that was unbelievably humorous.
Only Biden could make an international incident.
And y'all, that's not the first time that he said he drove an 18-wheeler. In July of 2021, he was at the Mack truck facility or factory in Pennsylvania. He said the same thing. He also said it in Dakota at the Dakota County Technical College in Minnesota.
Doesn't he have anyone brief him after and go, "Mr. President, you got to lose that story. Everybody knows it's not true." No, remember he grew up in a Puerto Rican church and he grew up in a black church. Remember that? And he was practically Puerto Rican. He claimed.
This is a great attribute for any politician. If you're willing to just say absolutely anything, you can get everything you want.
If no one fact checks you, it goes great.
You keep failing up until you're the most powerful.
Maybe we should hire a little fact checker who sits on the other side of the camera like CNN does. And every time Joe Biden says something that is total fiction, he holds up the fiction card.
Well, you know who
they claim to be doing that.
You know, as a truck driver, you have to go to training for that. It's not easy to drive a truck. Lawrence's dad knows all about it. That's what he does for a living. And Lawrence is live from
for a segue?
Brunch It Up. It's in Brookfield, Wisconsin. Thank you. So if you're in that area, go visit Lawrence and you can tell him how you feel about this story and so many others we're covering. Hey, Lawrence.
Hey, good morning, family. Yeah, it's so interesting that the president, he's trying to be relatable. And my dad is an actual truck driver. It's a hard job. You got to go through certification. You don't get to see your family. You got to be at all these truck stops. Like, it's something rough to do, but it's important for the American economy as well. And to your point, guys, he has this history of inflating things or just blatantly lying about things to appear relatable.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
This is not about 2020 Trump. This is about 2015, 2016 Trump, who was running for office as apprentice Trump, where the babes and the bucks were his brand. Sleeping with a Playboy bunny was his brand. The idea that he would be with a porn actress was part of his brand. It's part of what made people like him. And so the idea that somebody who was Mr. Babes and Bucks on the cover of the Inquirer was so afraid that Melania, his third wife, who was pregnant with his fifth child from 3 baby mamas, would be so terrified that poor Melania would be shocked and appalled that he might have been sleeping with Playboy bunnies and porn actresses, that he was so fearful that she would be hurt, Chris. Right. It would hurt her feelings, and that he had to do.
I want to bring in Jacob Schmeltz, who is a senior at Columbia University and VP of the Jewish on-campus student union. Thank you for being with us, Jacob. I know you said you feel safer off campus right now. Can you describe what this last week or so has been like for you?
It's been incredibly distressing to be a Jewish Columbia student over the past week. Ever since the hearing in the House Education and the Workforce Committee, Jewish students have felt threatened. We've had many anti-Semitic incidents that have gone on, lots of rhetoric. I've had a friend who was simply trying to go back to his dorm late Saturday night. He wears a Star of David necklace, just like myself, and he was told to go kill himself. So I think that really speaks to the level of intimidation that Jewish students are currently feeling.
So how do you even deal with that? Did you feel any conflict about leaving campus? During college years, that's your home, right? That's where your friends are. That's where the people you've gone through all of this with. I mean, did you hesitate at all? Is the threat so real and so present you just had to leave?
Yes, absolutely. I'm a current senior. I'm graduating in a month. This should be the time where I should be enjoying college and spending time with my friends and really trying to enjoy my last month. Instead, I'm at the place where I feel so disconnected to the rest of my community, and I feel so physically and emotionally unsafe that I decided I had to go home. Additionally, it has been the Jewish holiday of Passover over the past couple days, a holiday that's a celebration of community and togetherness. And many students like myself feel that we cannot celebrate that holiday on campus right now, given the current climate. So we have decided to go home.
And I know some of your classmates will be meeting on campus with Speaker Mike Johnson today, something you did not feel comfortable returning to campus to do. But if you had a chance to talk to him, what would you tell him?
So I would explain to him that what we've experienced on campus is a real issue. Jewish students feel under threat. Jewish students are being confronted and harassed simply for being physically identifiable as Jewish, and something needs to be done.
NBC News has spoken to Jewish students inside the encampment, and one wanted us to share that this encampment is, quote, not anti-Jewish by any means. There was a Passover Seder there on Monday. But what is your experience, and do you have any hope that there are more students like that who want to find, if not common ground, respectful ground?
So I would love to try and find common ground, and I'm always personally open to discussing any facet of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict or various university responses to the demonstrations on campus over the past week. With that being said, though, when these protesters are chanting, "We love Hamas, we are Hamas, we don't want two states, we want all of it," when they are saying, we say justice, you say how, burn Tel Aviv to the ground. These aren't calls for dialogue. These aren't calls for conversation. These aren't calls for de-escalation. These are calls for violence against our family and friends.
Well, certainly no one should have to go through this. I can't even imagine. You probably started your college years with COVID. You're ending it now with this. We thank you for taking the time to share your experience, and we can only wish you well in the future. Thank you, Jacob. Much appreciated.